Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Ms. Pac-Man for the Atari 2600, released in 1982. I already reviewed the Pac-Man game for the Atari 2600, and I have to say that was a pretty rough experience overall. I'm happy to say that this one is significantly different. There are a bunch of great changes for this one, and I think they go really far. First, the purpose of the game is, of course, the same as Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man in the arcade. You need to stay alive and clear all the pellets in the maze. You need to pay attention to the ghosts as they run around the maze after you. You need to do your best to stay out of their way. You can also eat power pellets at the corner of the maze, and you can eat the ghosts for a while if you get those. Just get as many points as possible, keep clearing the levels. Okay, first and foremost, they've made an attempt to make Ms. Pac-Man round. I won't say we're looking at a circle here, and this is certainly not a completely faithful adaptation of the arcade version, but the Pac-Man port received a lot of criticism when it came to the 2600. It was really square and monotonous. This one makes a good enough attempt where I can comfortably say that this one kind of looks like Ms. Pac-Man. Now, she doesn't have a pink bow in her hair, or lipstick, and that was sort of her thing in the arcade. But there are graphics representing a bow. That's good enough, I think, especially for the 2600. You're still running around a maze, and you're eating wafers as opposed to pellets in the game, in the arcade game, but I will say there's no buttered waffle to eat here for extra points. The buttered waffle was this extra point special item you could get in Pac-Man. I know it wasn't supposed to be called the buttered waffle, but that's what it looked like to me. I thought it looked hilarious. It was just ridiculous. That's not here. Instead of a waffle, we actually have fruit appear for extra points, and they bounce around the maze for you to go chase them. It's great. There are also different types of fruit. It's not like they just gave you one. There's an orange, there's a cherry, there's a strawberry, apple, pear, and a banana. Also, there's a pretzel. A pretzel might appear. This is far more variety than I would have expected from an Atari 2600 game, and I'm really happy to see it. It appears that this game took a look at how the first game was represented on the 2600, and they decided to make some different choices. The colors in the maze of this game are different too. In the Pac-Man game, it was blue and gold, and it was just monotony. It was just terrible to look at. The arcade, for both of these, was supposed to have a black background. Here, we still don't get a black background. We get a blue background with a pink maze. Now, if this was it by itself, I'd probably start hating this game before long, but after you complete the first level, the color of the maze shifts. And now we're looking at two shades of blue. If you beat this maze, it's going to shift color again. It's going to go to blue and white. Then it's going to shift again to blue and green. And then if you keep clearing the levels after this, the game is going to alternate between blue and white and blue and green. Now, it's a little more than this, actually. First of all, getting different colored mazes is really nice. It keeps you playing over time. It's not as difficult on the eyes, and it's definitely not as boring as the one maze static Pac-Man game that was released before this. I'm a huge fan of the color changes, but even better than this, the actual shape of the maze, the actual paths, including the teleport tunnels, they change. I can identify at least 4 different mazes. That would mean you have to memorize multiple patterns to get really good at this one. Now, I've never been particularly great at Pac-Man, but I am good for a few games, and now I'm good for even a few more games with Ms. Pac-Man. The fact that you have to change your strategy to compensate for the different mazes makes this one far more engaging, and then the variety of fruits bouncing around is really nice. Now, the sounds of the game, you get a little jingle at the beginning, and the standard beeps as you play the game. There's no music when you beat a level. In the arcade, if you beat a level, you get the special jingle. That would have been nice, but they made lots of other changes to this game from what they did for the original Pac-Man release, so I suppose you can't ask for everything. I'm okay with this as it is. Also, on that topic, we also don't get cutscenes that they have in the arcade as well. In the arcade, after you beat a few levels, a little play will run out on screen before you as the next maze loads. I seem to recall Ms. Pac-Man meeting Pac-Man, and there are of course some ghosts thrown in. It was just a little something to give you a break for a moment before you started playing again. We don't get that sort of thing here. I know it would have been nice, but I know that there are size constraints on a cartridge for the Atari 2600, and memory was really expensive back then. Instead, we just keep playing, no cutscene. You just focus on getting the highest score possible. I think all these simple additions at this game really help overcome some of the missed opportunities for the Pac-Man game. I'm really glad I found a copy of this one. It sort of makes up for the frustration I was having with the other game. Well, that's all I have today for Ms. Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you on another video.